Welcome back, Chiefs fans, to the 2022 NFL Draft. Kansas City obviously has a ton of picks this year. They are currently on the clock. The pick is coming in, but what I want to do is I want to go ahead and discuss the first pick. Kansas City traded up with the New England Patriots. They basically traded away pick 29 overall, and a fourth-round pick to get Trent McDuffie. And you should be able to see from the video here. We'll be able to see some highlights, but I remember watching some mock drafts and just hearing some experts say that this guy is possibly one of the safest prospects. I couldn't think of the word. Safest prospects that you could pick from a cornerback perspective. Yes, Sauce Gardner was, rated a little bit higher than he was, but if you come and look at the cornerback rankings or ratings, you can see Sauce Gardner here with a 6.72 grade, Trent McDuffie with a 6.70 grade. But what I like about, McDuffie, if you look at it here, he says he's a polished cover corner with a toolbox that enables him to employ a variety of techniques as a scheme-friendly playmaker. Whether playing man or zone or utilizing bump, ball, or shadow techniques, the Washington standout can do it all. Defensive coaches covet players with his IQ and skills. So I think this is a great pick. I've been holding off on, doing this little voting thing over here because I thought I'd go ahead and click it while I was doing the video. I think it was a good pick. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And let's see go ahead and cast that vote. And it looks like, according to everyone who has voted, 6% said it's a terrible draft pick. That's probably all those Raiders fans. 4% said it was a bad draft pick. Those are probably the Broncos fans. But, like I said, I think it was a good draft pick. I think Kansas City filled a need. Wide receiver was not the place to reach for a wide receiver. So I'm happy with that pick. And waiting to see what the pick is in. Of course, they're just now announcing the pick for the Patriots. So while we're waiting for that, I was doing some looking and, trying to decide where do I think Kansas City goes with this next pick. Part of me likes Karlaftis from Purdue. I mean, the story, losing his dad when his dad was 44, and he's got a great storyline. He plays tough, he plays hard. He has the stats to back up, what he's done. It's not like you're just picking somebody with total potential, or you're picking someone who's a project, with skills that you can develop. He has some of that. I think you put him on the line, he's going to get you some sacks, from day one. David Ojabo, we all know he tore his Achilles at pro day. So David Ojabo, if you pick this guy who, he was a great player. He's tearing it up for Michigan, but he's going to probably be on the shelf for a year. And as you all know, Kansas City needs help now. That's just the way that is. I was getting ready to look at wide receivers, but I just don't even think wide receiver is a wise choice right now. And let's refresh this and see if maybe we get any kind of. So it looks like the Patriots, they still haven't put the picks in. So let's go ahead and look at cornerback look at wide receiver and see what's available. One thing that I think Kansas City could do, I'm going to go ahead and pull up defensive tackle. Devontae Wyatt, he just went off the board. So Travis Jones from Connecticut, Fedarian Mathis from Alabama. I just don't know if it's too early for those guys or not. For a defensive tackle. If it was one of these two goes, if Wyatt was there, I'd say jump on that in a heartbeat. I'd be happy with that. But I just think it might be a little bit too early for some of those guys. So let's go ahead and look at defensive end. The guy from Florida State, he just came off the board, Jermaine Johnson. So Hutchinson, Johnson, and Walker are gone. So you've got, I guess, Pascal, Logan Hall. Now I've seen and heard a lot of things good about him. I've heard him rumored to Kansas City. But you're coming out of Houston. You're coming out of the American Conference. You know, I just don't think that you have the. It's just not the same level of competition. You know, it's not like, you know, you're playing, you know, in the Big Ten, you know, or the Big 12 or the SEC or, you know, the Pac-12, where, you know, your competition, you have good competition on a weekly basis. You know, you're playing in the American Conference. I'm not saying that you can't get good players out of there. So I guess I'd be okay with Logan Hall. Those are defensive ends. We'll look at edge rusher again. There was one edge rusher I did not mention, and that would be Boye Mafe. And I've heard he's a little bit of a project. So I guess, you know, if I had my choices here, Boye Mafe or Karlaftis, I guess I'd have to go with Karlaftis. I know someone's probably sitting out there saying, well, what about George Pickens? What about Pickens? Well, let's go ahead and look at Pickens. You know, Pickens, I can tell you right now, he has injury concerns. So I don't know that, I think this is too early to go ahead and get him. And it did not pull up, so we'll try that one more time. There we go. So you can see all the really good guys are gone. Christian Watson from North Dakota State, no thank you, pass on that. That guy he's a project, and Kansas City doesn't need projects right now. I mean, they've already got a project in Josh Gordon, you know, trying to get him back on track. Sky Moore, this is, I think, too early for him. George Pickens, again, I think it's too early for him. I'd rather see Kansas City possibly trade up and go after Jalen Tolbert out of South Alabama if they're going to do something like that. Or, you know, maybe depending on how things fall, maybe John Mechie the third out of Alabama. But I would not be happy with Pickens right now. So let's go back and see and Kansas City has picked George Karlaftis. So we can go ahead and look at him here and see what they have to say about him. Take this back and look at some of his highlights. Fan ballot, great this pick. I'll do that in a second. You know, it looks like he's got some good speed coming off the edge. I mean, this isn't a bad place for him. You know, I think Karlaftis would be a good selection, or is a good selection. I guess I'm just not sold on him. We'll click on him and look at some of his traits and see what they. We can see. Let's see. They don't have a 40-yard dash time on him. 21 reps of the bench press. 38-inch vertical jump. That's not bad for a defensive line. He's 6'4", 266. So, you know, for an edge rusher, he's got some pretty decent size, and that's what Spags likes from his defensive lineman. Let's see. He's got a round one grade on him. Let's see who they compare him to. They should do that down here at the bottom. Well, maybe they're not going to do that. Yeah, just talks about the grading. Look at his weaknesses. He's not a great playmaker against the run. Movements tend to be a bit segmented. Struggled to prevent being widened by Ohio State tackles. So against good competition, didn't do very good with it. Running backs are able to dart through his gaps. Sticky feet when in pursuit, or when pursuit changes directions. You know, so you know those are some weaknesses. But you look at some of his strengths. I mean, he plays the game through a physical filter, well built, broad hips, good muscles. Possesses a deposition of a pro lineman, so he's got the mentality. Hands and hips are explosive to the target. So to keep this video just kind of short and sweet, you know, Kansas City has picked Trent McDuffie and they picked George Karlaftis. So we'll go back there, and I'm just interested to see what the vote would be like on him. So we'll just scroll down here and oops, that's not what we want to do there. That's what we want to do. Click on that. It's not an excellent pick. I don't think it's a fair pick. I mean, I think that would be a little bit low. I'm going to say it was a good pick. I mean, you won't really know on these picks until a couple of years down the road. So I'm going to click a good pick. You know, I think Brett Veach has done all right first round. I mean, you know, and it looks like, you know, of all the people that have voted, a lot of people think it was an excellent pick or a good draft pick. Like I said, you're not going to know until 2 or 3 years from now. But anyhow, Chiefs fans, that's what the Chiefs and Brett Veach has done. So we've got Trent McDuffie, which I'm thrilled about. Trent McDuffie. I think that's a great pickup. You know, it's a guy that you can put on the outside. So you've got Fenton and McDuffie on the outsides. You've got Snead, you know, playing the slot, which he seems to be more, I think, better suited for. Kansas City just needs to, you know, look for some depth there. They need to get a wide receiver. So that's got to be something that's got to happen tomorrow night. And I think that'll happen. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. So it's not a long video. It's already gone a lot longer than I wanted to, but I had to get it started so I can get some rest so I can go work with my fourth graders tomorrow. So Chiefs fans, I think we're looking up. We got to get a wide receiver though. And with that, take care, Chiefs Kingdom, and I'll see you tomorrow night. Later.